Good afternoon and welcome to Series 3 of Power Assist and the Soul Mobility Power Flex. Joining me is Todd Hargroder, innovator and founder of Soul Mobility, and I'm Troy Tessmer, CEO and co-founder of Soul Mobility. Like I said, this is Series 3. We're going to do a really quick recap of the last two, hit a couple of highlights, talk a little bit about the PowerFlex as the ultimate hybrid solution, give you a couple snippets about demos and ordering, but then we're really going to get into the meat of this one, and that is we have 4 users, manual wheelchair users who have been using the PowerFlex for a while, as well as a therapist with us today from the Oklahoma City VA to talk about their experiences with the PowerFlex, and just open it up to some Q&A and have a little bit of a panel discussion. So let's get started. As always, there is a Q&A feature on the right side, just a little bubble with the question mark. If you have questions, feel free to drop them in there, and we'll have a little bit of time at the end to field those. All right, so as we've been talking about over the last couple series, we're really introducing a new category of a power add-on or a power attachment. And we say that because while we're in power assist category, we're really providing compact power and a lot more for those people in manual wheelchairs that are maybe on that edge of needing something more than just pushing all day. So as we've talked about, we can transform your manual wheelchair to power in 30 seconds. Quick, easy, and we're going to talk about those highlights in the next slides. So we all know how hard pushing can be, and we also know how disruptive a large power chair can be. So the world's not flat. Pushing's hard. It's hard on the body. And we talked a lot about the entire power assist category in the first meeting. It's attempting to bridge that gap, but it's leaving a lot of people short. And we really feel like the PowerFlex 100% bridges that gap between your lightweight manual and a complex Group 3 power chair. And it has some really great features in it that allow us to do that. So as we said, we're providing veterans with compact power and a lot more. So our power base, our power add-on, has a swing away joystick for transfers. But the really key features that we covered is the suspension system that allows you to go 3 to 5 miles an hour with confidence, turning at full speed and taking a lot of that bump and vibration and jarring out of the system that no other system on the market does. In addition to having a manual tilt system that allows your front casters of your chair to float over thresholds, to not impact things as much, but also go into a full manual tilt, allowing you to pressure relieve, open up your chest, take a load off after sitting 8, 12, maybe even 15 hours a day, depending on your situation. So really a compact power chair once we transform your manual, but a lot more that's providing significant benefits to our veterans. So why is it great for veterans in the VA? And we've hit a couple of these already. One, it's so much less disruptive to your personal lifestyle compared to a large power chair. And mentally, you're not in a big power wheelchair. And a couple people on our panel can really attest to this because they've had both. The wired joystick, it's easy to use. It's intuitive. You can use it everywhere. There's no tapping. There's no buttons. There's no trying to figure out how to go fast and slower or figure out your cruise control. And as we talked about, we have that suspension that really isolates your manual wheelchair frame, manual tilt promoting pressure relief. And then the whole package, because of its size and compactness, promotes more activity, more social engagement, more inclusion, because you can get up under the table at a restaurant. You can be out with your friends or at school and get it underneath the desk without having to be in a large power chair. And it's less complex and costly versus a big wheelchair, a big power chair. It's a very simple system. It's easy to work on, and it's just going to get the job done. So we say it's a hybrid alternative for both newly injured, gets them up and going faster and able to get out and have that independence, as well as existing people to reduce shoulder strain, repetitive stress, and avoid surgery potentially down the road. It's a great powered option for those long days, high activity, just when you need to rest, less fatigue, and it maintains your manual wheelchair performance, right? No adapters, no special wheels. When you click your frame out and put your manual wheels back on, we haven't touched your ultralight chair. So it is still your ultralight chair. You can get around and do what you want. And as we say, push when you want to, but go power when you need to. All right, that was a mouthful, a really quick overview, and we're going to hit a couple new things here. Todd, anything quick you want to add in?
Yeah, I'd like to, as far as all of those bullet points are certainly key points of the Power Flex. But the alternative, I mean, the hybrid alternative lifestyle that we can now provide for our newly injured, whether it is VA and or, just standard individuals such as ourselves, by providing a hybrid solution to allow them to push or go power when they need to is something really big. Out in the real world, you get one or the other. But in this situation, we can really provide both of them. And I believe each one of our panelists here will also testify to the importance of pushing as well as the importance of having the full joystick driven power.
All right, fantastic. So real quick, for those that are watching and tuning in, soulmobility.com has a plethora of resources. It has your order forms. It's where you can book a demo. It's where you can reach out to us personally to set up that in-service. And you can also go out to our YouTube site for additional videos, stories about Todd, how to set the unit up. All of that information is out there. We flashed this up a little bit before, but I wanted to make sure everybody knew it was out there. So if you do want to get a hold of us, if you do want to book a demo, there's 3 ways you can do it. 1, go to the website, book a demo, fill out the contact us form. That's going to come into myself as well as Jill. Jill's our sales manager. You can email us directly. You can email me or Jill. We will get you in contact with the independent sales rep in your area, how to get a demo or in-service out to your team, or you can give us a call at 855-SOUL-MOB. The first 2 are going to be your best option and best way to get a hold of us. A lot of the phone calls, I'm going to be honest, they're going to go to voicemail, but we do check it all the time. We are getting back to people, but book a demo or email us, and that's really going to help. On the right side, I took a couple snippets of our order form, and I just wanted to put those out there for any of the therapists or clinicians that might be tuning in. Really, when you order a unit, we really need to know 2 things. 3 things: the make and model of your manual chair, what is the seat width, and what is the user weight, above or below 150. And from there, we can make sure we get the right model out to you. And then on this product, you really have a couple of options. You can do the standard joystick swing down, which you've seen in most of the presentations. But we also do have a Stealth Unilink positional joystick coming out in the next 30 to 60 days if you need a special position of the joystick for a user. The other 2 options are really, you can add coated hand rims versus the black anodized, or you can add frog legs to the rear caster system to add additional smoothing out of the system on top of the suspension that's already there. And that's pretty much it. We are rolling out for those VAs and those independent sales reps that are working together to provide a white glove customer delivery and setup that our independent sales rep can work directly with the clinician if it's of interest to the VA. Some VAs just want it delivered right to the door. They're going to set it up and take care of it. But we did want to offer that option because I know a number of the VAs are working with their reps to deliver it into the home. And we do that kind of based on distance. So you're going to see that added to our order form as we move forward here. All right, I hit my goal. 10 minutes intro complete. And now we're going to get into it. I'm going to bring some folks onto the main stage here. We have Todd, obviously our founder. We have Chad Dismukes. We have Brad Morgan. Ryan Danley are all users of the PowerFlex. And then we do have Teresa Everhart. Thank you for joining us, Teresa. She is a clinician Teresa, are you an OT or PT? I'm sorry.
I'm an occupational therapist.
Great. So with that, we're going to get going. This is really meant to be just that little ad lib, personal moderated panel to talk about the PowerFlex and your experiences with it. Let's start with a really quick intro. And if each of you, in order of kind of how you're on the screen here, can just give us your name, how long you've been a wheelchair user, or your professional role within the VA, and then maybe one thing you enjoy doing that PowerFlex has helped make easier, and then we'll get into the questions. Chad, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chad Dismukes. I'm a C5-6 quadriplegic. Was injured in a diving accident 30 years ago. I've been pushing or using the PowerFlex for about 3 years now. I pushed for 27 years. My favorite thing about the PowerFlex is just it's really increased my parameter of being able to go places. I love to go walk my dog, get out on the greenway trails, and just get in, balance myself just out. So yes, it's been a great addition to my life, especially as I've gotten older. Awesome. Brad?
Yeah, I'm Brad Morgan, and I'm a C5-6 quad as well. Been in the chair for 35 years, coming up in July. And as a manual user, up until about a year and a half ago. I did switch to use some e-motion wheels for probably the last 10 plus years before switching to the PowerFlex. I do still switch back and forth to those wheels, sometimes mostly driven by what vehicle I'm driving at the time. And that's one of the big motivators for me switching was all these new vehicles I got to traverse, and it is, got the ramp van, so we're stuck without being able to have the access of the lifts like we did on our old vans, and this has really made it work well for me, being able to get in and out of that, and really notice the difference, being able to kind of whip in and out of places, and then whip around. And I was out mowing my field today and yesterday and going out in some pasture grass and using remote control, and the stability of this and the mobility and being able to do that and not worry about getting stuck out there or really struggling in the heat really has been nice.
Yeah, great. Ryan?
Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Danley. I have been a wheelchair user for 7 years now. I was injured on a snowmobile, C7 injury back in 2019. And I've been using the PowerFlex for a little over a year now. It's been fantastic because I actually switched from the Smart Drive. I thought that was going to be pretty helpful, and had a lot of trouble with that, with the buttons and things like that. And the range just wasn't quite what I needed it to be. And so switched to the PowerFlex, and I really enjoyed the spontaneity that it's added to my life. And just really enjoyed being able to get out and about and not have to limit myself on how far I can go, and be able to enjoy my friends and things much more so.
Great. And Teresa, give us a little quick bio here.
I'm Teresa Everhart. I'm an occupational therapist. I've been an occupational therapist for 32 years, and most of that time was with adults with developmental disabilities, so used a lot of wheelchairs there, worked closely with the physical therapy department there for complex power wheelchairs. And then I've been at the Oklahoma City VA now for 5 years, and we do the gamut of wheelchairs here, power and manual. We started, Todd came maybe a year ago and did a demo, and we've purchased 5 of the Soul Mobility devices since that time, mostly for people with paraplegia. And they were full-time manual wheelchair users. They have the adapted vans that make it easy for them to get in, get out in the PowerFlex. And it has just made a difference for them. But I hear it all the time when they come in. They have to come in and show me in their wheelchair and their PowerFlex and how it's kind of improved their life.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. So we're going to ask a couple questions to the group. We're going to ask maybe 2 people to answer. Feel free to chime in, panelists, as we go. But we have about 15 minutes. We're going to try and hit 3-4 questions here. Question number 1, how has the ability to switch between pushing and power mobility changed maybe your daily routine? And what impact has that had on your physical health, energy, and overall day-to-day life? Brad, why don't you start us off?
Like I said before, a lot of my drive has been, for having the PowerFlex has been initially was being able to get in and out of that traverse with the ramp on it. But there's been it's really nice. It takes a whole lot less effort to hop out and go run and do something and do some of those things, or get out, in the grass, or get around up and down some ramps, or cruise across San Antonio or something with friends or something like that. Big difference. I still, like I said, still like getting in the manual chair every once in a while, get a little more exercise there. So it's been beneficial as far as me being able to get out and go do things quickly and get in and out of that vehicle that otherwise, even with the emotion wheels, would be either impossible or dangerous for me, probably.
Just getting up the ramp. Okay.
Yeah, and Brad, that's an extremely key point. The ramps on these vans are very steep, and I've seen it more and more that individuals with the manual chairs and/or manual chairs with the emotion wheels are having to set those chairs up so they're not tippy at all, just so they can go up that ramp and not flip backwards. And as Brad was downtown last week, and we all went running around, and I watched him get in and out of his van, and it's a seamless transition to go right up into the van and pull up in there, and it makes it so much easier, and it takes that fear or that concern of going up and down the ramp. It just eliminates that. So it's great to see.
Yeah, and the footprint on this, like, just because we mentioned the traverse there, it's kind of limited space inside. I'm able to get in, turn completely around, where if I'm in my Permobile, which is a beast, you can't do that. I almost have to go in and then back out. And so I don't use it, don't even have it set up for that. It's just not practical. Where with this, I can easily get in and out, just whip on around, kind of zero turn, and it's been nice, really helpful.
Yeah. Ryan, I know you go back and forth quite a bit. Like, you're a very active person. You're really actually a quite strong pusher. Tell us a little bit how you decide when you're going to go manual, when you're going to go power, and how that's kind of changed your daily life and your energy level, and how you decide what you're going to do day to day.
For sure. When I know I'm going to be out and about, like on the town, things like that, or making multiple stops, I'll definitely use the PowerFlex. I think kind of the biggest difference at home for me is when I'm doing a lot of chores or tasks. I have a very small house. It's about 1,200 square feet. And so my laundry room is just like a little galley laundry room thing. And, if I'm in my manual chair and I put clothes on my lap, I go to push and kind of like leaning forward, have things that fall, and, I just can't really grab as much. But in the PowerFlex, I can put a big pile of clothes on my lap, hold them with one hand, and then use the joystick with the other to get up and down. And that's the same thing with like taking my trash out or things like that, doing things around the yard. It just gives me so much more freedom. And like Brad was saying, the footprint is the same as my manual chair, essentially. And so when it comes to spacing, knowing my turns and things like that, it just makes it so much easier to get around. So, that's kind of the biggest difference, is when I have tasks to do versus not, or if I want to get exercise, I'll get in my manual. But other than that, I'm usually in the PowerFlex.
Yeah.
Ryan, when we first met in DC last year, you really made a strong impression on me about Ryan is the he hasn't been pushing as long as Chad, Brad, and myself. And he's taken such a smarter approach to it by wanting to conserve and save his shoulders and his body, early on. Again, Chad, Brad, and myself, we pushed for, 30 plus years almost, collectively probably 80, 90 years, but we didn't have an option. So it was really refreshing and good to hear Ryan's take on it as far as saving his shoulders early on and really going about this smarter than we did early on.
100%. I have a lot less pain in the shoulders. Like, sometimes if I'm pushing a lot, I'll get some soreness kind of at the front there. And I don't deal with that nearly as much now. I'm able to stretch more and things like that. And so it's just been great to have in the arsenal for sure.
Yeah. And then go ahead, Todd.
Truth be known, daily life is hard enough. And to have a tool like this that allows us to at least take one thing off of our plate, as simple as laundry is, but that's a big chore in some situations. So every little tool that we can have to help our day-to-day life is a huge benefit.
Yeah. Teresa, I was going to ask you to jump in just a little bit on this one, and then we'll head to the next one. But you said you have a number of paraplegics who are in this and are relatively strong pushers from what I understand. Tell me a little bit about their experience and how they're approaching shoulder preservation, maybe from a clinical standpoint as well.
Well, yes, all of them except one is a paraplegic, and the first person that got this power base, she actually had a shoulder injury and shoulder surgery, and she just really did not want to go power. Most of these guys did not want to go power at all, but when they saw the power base, they saw how small it was, that you don't see the chair, you see the person. They really liked that, and it does preserve the shoulders. She has nothing but high praises, and she is very particular about her wheelchair and about mobility and staying strong. But she came in and she was speaking with our rep here just about going on and on about how wonderful the PowerFlex was, especially during this time where she's trying to recover from a shoulder surgery. So the other gentlemen are trying to preserve their shoulders. They've been long-time manual wheelchair users, and they're getting older, and it's just becoming harder. Especially one of the gentlemen works here at the VA. He is outside dealing with traffic and things like that, and so he's up and down hills constantly, and he's in a Tylite CR1, but it's killing him to go up and down those hills. And so he came in and saw it. He was one of the first people that we actually demoed it to, and he was just blown away with it. He took it out there, he's tried it out, and just the smoothest suspension of it blew him away too, because he said it just he didn't get thrown around in the parking lot with the speed bumps and things like that. He was able to go over those things, and the bumps in the sidewalks, it just smoothly went over those things, and it didn't jar him all day up and down those hills.
Yeah. No, I love that, because we talk a lot about work, school, and play. So to have someone that's able to continue to do their job, continue to fulfill their job, and do it longer, faster, and just be happy about it is great to hear. So yeah, thank you.
And Teresa, the exercise mental side of this, and I'm guilty of it as well. My thought was I always had to push. I had to push for exercise. But, now looking back, I know there's better ways to exercise than pushing a manual chair. So again, push when you want, go power when you need, and find better ways to exercise your muscles, in a different position. Everything we do all day is pretty much forward motion. So to reverse that in exercise, stretching, etc., will be a huge benefit and, to our longevity in a chair.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, let's jump to question 2. And I know, Chad, you have a multitude of examples for this one. So can you share with us a real world example of how the PowerFlex has enabled you to do something that would have been difficult or almost impossible in your manual wheelchair?
Well, yeah. Well, let me first start off by touching a little bit on what Teresa said about the veteran that came in and didn't want to go big power chair and saw this power base and was this power base. It's Todd introduced me to the power base early on when he first designed the thing, and he gave me one. He said, "Chad, try this out," and it sat in the corner of my bedroom for the longest time because I couldn't get over the mental vision of being in a power chair, just from what I had been introduced to earlier in my injury and the identifying person that I was in my manual. And eventually I gave into it and came to the realization that I'm still in my manual, basically, but with power. And I still was able to hold my same identity that I had in my manual and loved it. And just really, like I mentioned earlier, it has increased the parameter of my comings and goings. I go on dog walks daily. I just go in my backyard, play with my kids, can go downtown and hang out with my friends and go miles and not have to have an aching shoulder at the end of the night, nor struggle on pulling. I'm a C5-6 quad, and we pull a lot on our push rims. We pull to get up on things, and the time that it takes has shortened. I'm able to get there quicker and save time just overall. But
yeah, Chad, last year, didn't you go out to California pretty much solo by yourself? And I don't know if that's something you would have done if you were pushing the whole time or not.
I did. No, it wouldn't. I wouldn't have been able to do that. And I did that again this year. I was able to take my power base, and I went on a personal quest this year of going down to the LA Expo, flying out of here and leaving my house with a cab picking me up, went and caught an airplane, and flew over there to LA and, got it back in my power chair after flying and able to catch a cab over there and just do my pressure reliefs in this power base because I'm able to do a manual tilt and get off my bottom in a good way that preserves my skin on this long journey, and be able to go places, out on the seawall, and just a great thing. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do this as efficiently without this power base. Like I touched on, the being able to do the manual tilt, huge plus for me because I have had little skin issues in the past, and preserving my skin as I've aged is huge. It's part of my health, and to be able to do a manual tilt and lay back for as long as I want, has just been a great thing.
And Brad, it sounds like you have some acreage maybe at your place. Have you been able to do some things that maybe you had to stop doing when you only had your emotion wheels maybe?
It was just a big struggle. And then one of the things is that I've mentioned, Todd's heard me mention it before, is the stability on this chair with having the 6 wheels. If I go out there and my caster, or the other day I was rolling down a sidewalk and my front caster went down into a drainage hole or whatever that was open, and I had stuff piled up on my lap. I didn't tip all the way over. I've got this base with the other wheels that makes it so much more stable. I didn't lose the stuff off my lap. Close, but didn't. I wouldn't recommend.
Because you had one hand on them, right?
Yeah, exactly. I had one hand on it, and I didn't completely tip on over the way I would have, if I shifted my weight and didn't have that base under there. And I see the same thing when it's kind of some pasture grass with some dips and holes out there. I'm a lot more stable in it. I'm less concerned with stability with it, and it's just so much easier to get around. And like I mentioned before, the biggest thing for me is being able to get in and out of that traverse and do that. And then it just byproduct, all the other things have just kind of been easier to get around to do certain things and whip in and around quite a bit quicker to do certain things.
Yeah. So we're 20 minutes in. I'm gonna let us go a little bit longer on this one. We've been trying to keep this to a half an hour. I am gonna wrap it up here in a little bit, but I wanted to kind of just wrap everything together. And if each of you, including you, Teresa, could give us describe the biggest benefit that PowerFlex has provided you in one sentence. So this should go pretty quick. Ryan, I'm going to put you on the spot and see what you come up with here.
All right, one sentence. The PowerFlex has increased my joy by increasing my spontaneity and ability to go places.
Fantastic, thank you.
And if I could add to that, Ryan, Ryan and Heidi were in San Antonio a month ago, I believe, and we went out rolling, and it was during Fiesta. There was people everywhere, and we hit multiple dead-end streets, but yet we were all in power and could turn around and find another avenue, and we cruised all around. If we were having to do that pushing, it would have made it an arduous trip, but it was at the end of the night we were all having a good time, and were able to do things that we certainly would not have been able to do so.
Yeah.
I was tired from hanging out and not from pushing. So, it was great.
Yeah. All right, Chad?
I'd say it's giving me my legs back.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm able to go where I've been able to go in the past when I was up walking in so many ways. Yeah.
And one thing you don't know about Chad has 2 kids, one of them that's a very good tennis player. And when we first started talking, he was not attending a number of those tennis events because every tennis court gets built on a hill for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But since he's had the PowerFlex, he jumps in and he makes every single one of those tennis tournaments that his son is in. So
Yeah.
I've been able to watch that journey with him.
Since you brought up my kids, I think about it here and there and have thought about it recently, just that my kids have gotten older and graduated from high school recently, and thought about, damn, I wish I would have gotten this power base a little bit earlier, just to be able to experience a little bit more of their youth with the ability to move around like I can now.
To keep up, yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
Brad, one sentence, one quick one for us.
It's allowed me to move to a new vehicle, for one, and again also gives me that spontaneity and being able to go some places where I would have held back and maybe done it, but not been able to do as much.
Yeah. And Teresa, how about you? What in one sentence, how would you kind of describe the benefits, the biggest benefit of the PowerFlex?
I think it's just the freedom for people to live life without bodily strain. It's just that independence and that freedom.
Yeah. We talk about that a lot when we do our in-services, is it allows the body to 100% relax and recover when you do have shoulder pain, fatigue, or you just need a break. And then it's also that mental part of it. A joystick's easy to use and intuitive, and a lot of the other power assists, you always have to be aware because you now have power driving your machine, that you don't run into someone, that you have to slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up. And with a joystick, it's just easy and intuitive. So, and Todd, I don't want to forget you. Let's get a sentence from you.
And I was going to say, and those other devices with the buttons that you have to think ahead. I mean, you're looking at 3 other quadriplegics here with limited hand function, and to see those buttons, because we have limited hand function and limited feeling in our hands, so you can't feel the buttons. You have to visually see them to hit them. So all those things that you have to do in a split second can get really hairy when you're trying to decide: am I going to hang on to my body? Am I going to slow the chair down, or am I going to avoid hitting this person or this structure? So there's a lot going on that the simplicity of the joystick eliminates. But for me, my one sentence is certainly has to do with the footprint. the ability to live my same life in my same home environment without having to change. And that 12-mile range that allows me in the morning to know I can go anywhere I want to go and not have to decide if I'm going to park up the hill or down the hill at whatever place, because I know I can get up it or down it, with ease. So there's just so much to put into that one sentence, but just the freedom that it provides is off the charts.
Yeah, I know Todd and Chad have both mentioned this. Like for 20 plus years, anytime they went anywhere, it was, do I park uphill or downhill? Do I want to push into the grocery store or out of the grocery store? And we all might think parking lots are flat, but they're not. And it doesn't take much of a hill, from what I hear, for it to be a real struggle, especially if you have a couple things on your lap. So, hey, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. I think we could probably talk for another hour pretty easily, but I want to be respectful of everybody's time. I'm looking at the Q&A section here to see what we might have. And, one question that's out there that I want to hit really quick is, how easy was the transition from manual mobility to power mobility? And Chad, you already talked about the mental a little bit, but as you switched over and learned the system, like how quick and easy was it, or were there any challenges? Ryan, real quick.
Ryan? Yeah, for me it was, well, I'm still at the same as I was in my manual, so I didn't have to adjust so much of visually where I'm at in my space. I was in the same space. So it was pretty easy transition, and being able to have this remote and having a free hand, I'm able to hold my dog leash. I'm able to hold my girlfriend's hand, whatever it may be. It just frees me up a lot instead of having to struggle and push that chair. But yeah, it was a pretty easy transition for me personally. And I still go back and forth. I mean, I like to take my manual off here and there and push when I'm in certain days, just for the heck of it. But I find myself with my power flex on most of the time, but
sure.
And Chad,
it is nice to have the option.
And Chad, a while back, you told me that your manual chair helps you feel grounded, and that's a really key point. That in a manual chair, it's quiet. You push, you feel grounded, but yet that's a difficult task at times. So again, this allows us to do both.
Yeah.
And I'll say, I'll throw in a couple of things on that. One, the position being basically the same position in my manual chair, I can actually lean over and pick stuff up off the floor, which I can't do if you throw me in my Permobile. I can pick, fumble, with the tennis ball or do whatever, take some work, but I can get it. I can reach it. On a big Permobile, there's no way I can do that. Also with the push handles, the push rims, these little corner sort of push rims that we have, that's right there where you expect it to be. So if I'm leaning left or right or something, I can grab a hold of that. That's just, you've got muscle memory that reaches for that when you're in a manual chair. That's right there. The only thing that I'll say is adjustment is every once in a while when I'm in my manual chair, I'll reach for the joystick. And when I'm in the power chair, I'm in the Power Flex. It doesn't happen as often because I'm using it a lot more than the manual chair now. But every once in a while, I reach to push on the push rims, and I can reach for the joystick.
Yeah.
But that's an easy one. But the rest of it is just so natural to the push handles are where I'm used to, on the back. Yeah. So when I'm reaching to grab that to be able to lean over, it's right there where I expect it to be. Like I said, the push rims, everything's where I expect it to be. My angle, my positioning is what I've been used to for the last 35 years. So it's
spot on, man. Good for sure.
And Teresa, real quick, how have you seen the transition for people from a learning curve? Because you have to get people set up, you have to make sure they're safe going home. What have you seen?
Honestly, the rep does everything for me.
There you
So,
go, Robert.
yeah, Robert here, he does it all for me. I recommend it. I call him. I contact the veteran and I just say, hey, I have something I want you to see. Robert meets them up here. They do the trial. They'll go outside. They'll do what the veteran wants to do to try it, and then they've just come back saying, "Wow, this is incredible." So they haven't really voiced any major challenges to me.
Awesome.
And Teresa, that's a very important point. I should say Teresa and Robert. Allowing people to go outside because in your gym it's nice and flat and everything works well. But when you go outside, that's when you can really tell the difference between the PowerFlex, our device, and the other power assist units out there. Life really starts where the sidewalk ends, and we can go off the sidewalk. We can go where we want to go with this device versus many of the others. So, getting them outside of the gym in that first trial is an important part of this, just so they can experience the freedom of the true joystick control.
Yeah.
Well, in the suspension, that was the big thing that several of them have mentioned is just, this has freed one gentleman up where he can go with his wife downtown to Bricktown and he doesn't have to worry about the uneven sidewalks catching him and throwing him out of the chair because he's in the CR1 and it's just so lightweight that he's hit bumps and almost come out of the chair a couple of times. And so he was concerned about that. So he just doesn't go. And now he's so excited because he can go and he doesn't have to worry about it. And he doesn't feel every bump that he bumps over. So it just it's freed him up to do things that he's wanted to do, but has kind of limited himself to do. So to get out there, and he trialed it out in the parking lot and around the VA and said, oh my, I didn't even feel the bumps. So he's been very happy.
Good.
Yeah, I've experienced those bumps in Bricktown, so they're real.
They are real.
And to that point, we as designers over the years have worked really hard to make our rigid chairs very rigid, just what they're called. So every amount of forward force propulsion we put into the chair goes into propulsion, and that's great. But yet all that vibration and all that stiffness, just goes right up our spine, and this really helps eliminate that, which at the end of the day eliminates fatigue and pain. Then you equate that to the end of the month, the end of the year. This is a huge benefit for all of us.
Yeah. All right. With that, I am going to wrap it up. We're a little bit over time already. I appreciate everybody coming on, sharing their stories, sharing their journey, sharing how the PowerFlex has opened up their life a little bit, made day-to-day tasks like laundry. All right, Ryan, thank you. Easier. I actually use that example from time to time, but just, it's really critical that both in the house and outside of the house that a product works. And Todd spent a lot of years really working to make this compact power come to life. And as he said, the ability to not change a microwave, a transfer to a shower, a transfer to a bed, a table, a desk in his house, none of that had to change. And he can go back and forth between manual and power, and all these users can, and get around in the house, as well as, I think really explore the outdoors is phenomenal. So thanks for sharing. Any last words, Todd?
No, I just want to thank everybody for joining today and to really, give this a look and give us a call so we can get a demo out to you to trial and experience true hybrid mobility.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Everybody have a great day. We look forward to talking to you in the future, whether you're a clinician, a user, whoever you are watching this series, give us a call and let's make PowerFlex a reality for all of you. So thanks. Have a great day. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.